Okay, documentary short subject, Extremis, 4.1 miles, Joe's Violin, Watani, My Homeland, and the White Helmets. So are you thinking Joe's Violin, Tony?
No, I'm thinking Extremis, and as a long shot, Joe's Violin. Extremis was a film about dying, what you do when a person is dying, whether you take them off the machine. Both of those films are 24 minutes. White Helmets, the one about the people who are trying to save the victims in Syria, could be a long shot. But Extremis won both at San Francisco and Tribeca. And so I think Joe's Violin is a nice long shot, but I'm pretty convinced about Extremis.
Well, the White Helmets is also wrapped up in this controversy that's happening now with our people coming into the country and so forth, and some of those people who are in the film were going to come to the awards, but of course have found that that's possibly going to be a little bit more difficult than they were thinking. So it's possible that the White Helmets could be another political.
Yeah, but both of these other films are really emotional films.
Yeah.
And the emotional quality of them, I think, in this category alone, White Helmets is a good film, but I think the other two are more effective with a voting audience.
Yeah. Okay.
Jerry, you have any feelings on this?
I haven't seen them, so I really can't have an informed opinion. I trust, I think the thing about the White Helmets is very interesting. I think Tony's really. I'm going to go with Tony on this one. I mean, just because he's seen,
Jerry, do you have Netflix? Excuse me. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah, I have Netflix. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Because both of them are available.
Okay, no, I'll definitely check them out. No, I'll definitely check them out.
Okay.
Documentary feature. The nominees are Fire at Sea, I Am Not Your Negro. I never thought that I'd say that. Understood. Life Animated, O.J. Made in America, and 13th. How interesting. I mean, that three of these are inextricably linked to race, the hot button issue of race. Tony, what do you think here?
Well, am I right that you picked O.J. Made in America as your film of the year?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely going to win the documentary. 13th, I think, has a long shot, but I think you're absolutely right that O.J. Made in America will be the winner here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question about it. I sat and watched. I watched Fire at Sea a couple of days ago. The nomination for that just totally mystifies me. Have you guys seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's a movie about African refugees. Which I guess race does play into this one too, but African refugees arriving at a small Sicilian island. So as far as I can tell from what it's doing, it's half of the, I'd say less than half of the movie is really about the refugees and what they're going through. And the other half of the movie is about a small Sicilian family, and it shows them, making beds and brewing coffee, listening to the radio. There's a kid in the family, and he has a lazy eye, so you see him going to the optometrist. Then you see him out with his best friend trying to play with slingshots and stuff like that. And I'm like, what in the hell does this have to do with the refugee crisis? And I'm sitting here, and it's beautifully photographed. It really is. But I'm like, why is this half of the movie in this? I was like, they're contrasting the haves with the have-nots? Well, anybody's going to look great compared to the refugees. These people aren't like, aren't rich or anything. I just didn't understand like why they were doing it, and I just thought these are two different movies just stuck together. I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, but
personally, I'd like to see a feature movie about a kid with a lazy eye trying to learn how to use a slingshot. That sounds like an entertaining
sounds like an
feature
awesome
film
movie, man.
Well, that's what this is. I mean, you're sitting there like, okay, can we get on with it now? I think we've seen enough shots of them shooting rocks at cactuses. And I also watched Life Animated. Has anybody seen this?
No, I wanted to see it, but I didn't play it long enough. But you saw it.
I guess I'm kind of a heartless bastard.
You're not the first person I've heard say this not like this movie. So don't
about this movie.
Yeah.
I was kind of. It's one of those movies that's so cloyingly sweet that it just makes your spine curl up on itself. It's just like it's literally got shots in it of the character, which is about an autistic boy that finds his way to expressing himself through Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been totally, rubber stamped by Disney, so it's got lots of Disney clips in it, and by the way, the clips of Disney movies that I don't like the '90s Disney movies, not the really great ones from the '40s and the '50s and the '30s. So I'm sitting there watching it, and it's literally got scenes of like the lead character like going yay, like at the camera, yay, and I'm like, oh, I cannot watch this movie. I cannot watch a movie with a surplus of like clips of The Little Mermaid in it. I can't do it. And so I had to cut it off after 20 minutes. I was like, this is awful. I can't watch it.
Oh, it got so much better after 20 minutes.
Oh, it did?
No, it did not.
I was just irritated by that film. There were better. I mean, Tower would have been a better pick for this category. De Palma, and De Palma's not really a great documentary, but it was certainly more entertaining, But anyway.
Best achievement in directing. The nominees are Arrival, Denis Villeneuve. Dennis Villeneuve. They said it weird the other day. I've always said Villeneuve.
It's just like Catherine Deneuve. It's Villeneuve.
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 Yeah. Hacksaw Ridge. How do you pronounce that? Mel Gibson. Right.
Melvin Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah, Sugar Tits. Let's just call him
Sugar Tits is nominated.
Yeah.
La La Land from Damien Chazelle. Manchester by the Sea, Kenneth Lonergan, and Moonlight from Barry Jenkins. Of course, the big surprise from this is that Mel Gibson is back. All seems to be forgiven. I mean, we always thought that maybe, he'd be in the top 10, maybe. But there are serious doubts on whether or not he'd make the cut for the final 5. And he did. This being said, is it a lock for Damien Chazelle?
Yes,
absolutely.
I think so. I really do. I do think we're looking at a La La Land sweep. I mean, really. I really do feel that way.
Yeah.
At this point, can somebody, Dean or somebody, make a really solid presentation about the value of La La Land? Because it was like me going on a blind date with somebody, and we had nothing in common. I wish it had ended with a kiss. Then at least it would have ended on an interesting. Was it fantasy? Was it reality? But I just didn't get it. Please, somebody who loved it, let me know.
I don't really understand like what there is to get. Really, I mean, like it's okay. So it's a movie about. I think it has a dark undercurrent about loss. And
hey, I know dark undercurrents, and this is a dark undercurrent.
Well, I felt that it had it. I mean, I felt that it was a movie that had these things, these elements to it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put up a. Well, I mean, I really don't understand what is it exactly that doesn't connect with you. I mean, like for me, it's energetic, it's fun, it's funny, it's well performed. It's well executed.
Give me 2 examples of it being funny.
Huh?
2. I won't even ask you 3. Give me 2 examples of it being funny.
I loved the scene with her requesting I guess it's a birthday party scene where she goes and he's playing in an 80s band, and I loved her reaction to his outfit. And I loved his reaction to actually having to play these very simple tunes that are really kind of against his own ethos. I thought it was funny that he was out there in that crazy outfit playing those things, and I loved her reaction to it. Her just sort of she just adores like seeing him in this place. So
Jerry,
I thought that was particularly funny.
Jerry, what's your reaction to it?
I enjoy it. You know, I look at when you first say it, I can understand where people would not connect with this movie. I think that one of the turnoffs I've noticed that people don't like it is that it doesn't have a happy ending. I mean,
is that a problem with you, Tony?
Oh, of course not. No, of course not.
No. I mean,
I didn't care whether it had a happy ending or not.
You would have liked it better if Godzilla had stomped on the whole city. Then you might have said, "Hey,
no, I would have.
I
told you, and Jamie, I think, loved the kiss. I mean, the kiss is the film, and I wish it had stopped there, but it went on, and it left me. It left me saying, "There's nothing. There's no la here."
Right. Okay. I mean, I think that's and Tony, it's fine that you don't. I mean, it's not a movie that's. I think it's a movie that this is the kind of movie that's not can connect with everyone.
You're telling me, Dean. You're absolutely telling me that it's fine for me to disagree.
Oh, I mean, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that says, you don't like it, you're crazy or whatever.
You're an idiot, yeah.
I'm actually fine with people who don't like things. It's like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
And if you happen to like something that I don't like, I'm like fine with that too. Really, I'm not going to try and talk you out of it.
What's finally happened is there's been a backlash. An article in the USA Today, an article in the New York Times, an article in the LA Times. All 3 different articles. I agree with them. There's
always a backlash on the front runner. There always is.
Sure.
Well, let me just say that what makes this different. I actually want to say the backlash to this in Manchester by the Sea began actually in December because these were these backlashes started a little bit earlier, I would say, than normal because these films are very hyped up at the beginning of the award season when you have the festivals and everything. So we do have these almost I don't want to say built-in backlashes. But I do want to bring up something about La La Land. It's something I've noticed on social media from certain film critics that we're all friends with, saying that La La Land should not win anything because it would send the wrong statement to make something so, I guess, frivolous. As a
winner. That's silly. I mean, that's absolutely silly.
What else is? I think that's dumb. That's stupid.
It is. No, I agree 100%.
But there's good silly and there is mediocre silly, and to me, it's mediocre.
Yeah, but I think people. a lot of people are in the tank for Moonlight. I think this is a tug of war between Moonlight and La La Land. But I think La La Land
those people who
really
are bringing that up are really, really for Moonlight winning.
See, my problem is I couldn't find any of the 9 that I'd vote for as Best Picture of the Year. I mean, I probably liked, and the one that I thought was the best was Hell or High Water.
Yeah,
there's nothing here. As I wrote recently about Silence, I think Silence is grim and bleak and simmers in cruelty, but it has, in 10 years, I think film historians, film critics may look back on Silence as a much more important, greater film than La La Land. Jamie, what's your reaction to La La Land? We heard from everybody but you.
I thought it was fine. I wasn't crazy about it. The one part that I really did love was that it did end on a bittersweet note, and I did love the final 15 minutes of the movie. I only found 2 of the songs memorable. I thought the staging for everything except maybe the opening car dance was a little uninspired. So it didn't take. People call this our generation singing in the rain, which is ridiculous to me.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, all right.
It's singing in the milk.
So I think there too. I think people tend to be too gaga on it, but Dean comes from a place which he described the other week when we did our top 10, where it really ignited movie love for him, and I think coming from that place of just watching people experiencing joy and sharing in the joy of kind of old Hollywood devices and stuff, and I think that's the genuine reaction to have to it.
Yeah.
But I would have loved if the music were better.
Yeah, I like the music in it. I like, for instance, that it doesn't just rely on songs. It's more like numbers. Like it's sort of like a variety kind of. There's a variety to it. There's scenes with him playing the piano. There's things with them dancing with no song. There's just a backing track. So
Dean, you laughed at in Passengers at the scene of the bar. What did you think of that really graceless swinging around the lamppost? An allusion to singing in the rain.
I like Ringing in the Rain better. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that these are 2 characters that. I think the characters themselves are people who are trying to search for their voice, and I don't think that they're supposed to be complete ringers as singers or as dancers. I think that their tentativeness in a lot of their steps is intentional. It's intentional from a casting standpoint because they could have cast the greatest dancers and the greatest singers they could have ever possibly have gotten. But instead they went with these 2 people because the performances are more important than whether they can do a plie with the best of them or whether they can get their voice to the rafters. That's not what the thing is about. The thing is about them trying to search for their voice.
Yeah, but I'll ask you, Dean, or everybody. I like grace in musicals. I thought this was a graceless movie. I didn't see the grace in it.
Well, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of musicals that have, graceless moments. I mean, even Music Man has Buddy Hackett doing a number. So I don't have a problem.
I wouldn't have raised The Music Man. I would have raised American in Paris, Singing in the Rain, The Pirate. I would not have raised The Music Man.
Yeah, but you can't expect Gene Kelly in every musical you watch. I mean, really, seriously, he's dead. He's gone.
The other thing is that the actor of
Gosling?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Gosling. He, I must admit, would be better than a dead Gene Kelly.
But if the makers of Rogue One have anything to do with it, I mean, you might not have to make that choice. Like they could.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why I think the movies that movie's so crazy is because this could become really standard procedure in a couple of years. I mean.
Okay, now that we've talked all that time about La La Land, let's go to costume design. The nominees are Allied, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Florence Foster Jenkins, Jackie, and La La Land. So La La Land for this one too?
You know,
with an outside chance of Jackie. I think this is one of the two categories. There will be one later, where La La Land is favored. The problem with Jackie, unfortunately, is people forgot the Kennedys. I mean, the Kennedys do not have the same value, the same relevance that they once did. And so I think Jackie is really effective in terms of acting and in terms of costuming. But La La Land has to be favored, at least a slight favorite over it.
The one thing about La La Land, the power in its costumes comes from the color and not from necessarily the make of them, which would make it quite different, a different kind of winner. Because usually we get things that are historically accurate, things that are very complex in their construction, and La La Land doesn't have either one of those things. So while I think it's possible that there's a strong possibility that it will win as part of a sweep, I'm going to go with Jackie here on that one, on this one, because I think it's because of the historical accuracy of it.
Yeah, I would just like to see Jackie win something. It deserves so much more. And it's getting
I'm rooting
here,
for it too.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for it too.
Okay.
What do you think,
Jackie,
by the way?
She was wearing a pink dress, right? And Jackie? I mean, the pink with the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, they got all that.
The only thing I keep seeing in my mind is that red dress that she's wearing on the poster.
On the poster, right.
Yeah. And by the way, I think they got the blood wrong on her dress, on her skirt.
Oh,
too.
God. Oh, my God.
Well, that's why it didn't get a makeup nomination.
There we go. There's bad makeup on that costume. Cinematography. The nominees are Arrival, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and Silence. The one nomination for Silence, which I would imagine most of Silence is shot in natural light. I can't imagine that they were able to get much equipment up in those regions where they were shooting.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for me, this is going to go to La La Land easily. I mean, I do have to say, I do. Well, Arrival doesn't have any business being here because it's a bunch of dark murkiness that I don't really cotton to. I watched Lion today, and it is beautifully shot, but there's no chance there. I mean, Moonlight is its closest competitor, and I have problems with Moonlight in terms of just, this is a personal thing, but I'm not really a fan of handheld photography, and I don't think that they did it particularly well. But I do recognize that a lot of the lighting choices in it are very creative. So I like it on that level. But it's going to be La La Land. And Silence, of course, is beautiful to look at.
Okay, La La Land, Jerry?
I'm gonna go with the darkest of dark horses. The most beautiful film here is Silence. It's the one thing that really stands out throughout parts of it. It's just really just beautiful, and there's just so many great shots in it. I'm gonna go with that, and if not Silence, I would go with Arrival, which is just I think incredibly well shot. But one of those two, and I know neither one of them have a chance. But I'm going to go with Silence just because film's got to get something. And if you're going to Scorsese film cinematography and everything, and this is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. I'm going to go with the merits here. I'm not going to go. I can't go with the steamroller. I got to go with just the artistic. With Silence. There's just a lot of great shots that you're just like, you marvel at in that movie. I'm sorry. You just marvel at.
I agree totally with Jerry, except for one point. This is 2017. In 2027, people may look back and say, oh, The Silence was the best photographed film of the year. But we're talking about what's going to win, not
I know.
The best.
I know, but I'd like to recognize something for actual merits and not just the campaign
right.
and the momentum. And I do think this is something we are over. A lot of other films I think should be in this category that aren't. But I just think of what's. I think sometimes and I know we're doing this thing based on popularity and but I do think sometimes we should try to go for the merits of the category, and I do want to for this. I said this movie was long in the making. While it's a hard movie, and it's not a film that it's a film I think about. It's not a film that I guess love is the wrong word, but it's a film that I grapple with. But I appreciate it for that because I do find it hard, and it's hard to grasp. But I do think there's no denying the beauty of it. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and just go with it.
Jerry and I would both vote for Silence, but the Academy is going to vote for La La Land.
Oh yeah, it's you can't escape it. But I would say Silence. Just I feel good. I feel good saying I said it. So
Well, my
how's that?
My feeling is Silence is my favorite movie among these. I understand that La La Land is sweeping and is a favorite in this category. That being said, I'm going to choose right now Moonlight as one of the awards that movie is going to get.
Wow, okay.
And plus, hasn't it won cinematography awards leading up to this?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure how it's done with the Cinematographers Guild, whether they've even given that out yet or not. But it's certainly placed. So it's well loved.
Animated feature film. Kubo and Two Strings. Moana. My Life as a Zucchini. I saw a movie like that one time. The Red Turtle, and Zootopia. Here's something interesting. You could say it would go to Zootopia, which I think that's like a favorite. But this Kubo and Two Strings getting 2 nominations. It's just got some distinction in that category.
Right.
It could be an upset. If it is an upset, because I think everybody thinks Zootopia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I certainly do.
If it is if it's an upset, do you think the upset would be Kubo?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. I don't think that there's a ridiculous amount of love for any of the other 3. Although I have to say, the Red Turtle looks. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks fascinating just on an animation level, and just
right.
And then the idea that, it's completely without dialogue is also very attractive to me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You just... Okay.
No, I mean, I'm okay with movies without dialogue. It's just, it has to, if are you referring to? I guess you're referring to the Moonlight thing. I'm okay with movies being silent as long as there's a reason. I just don't understand the reason why that character is so silent throughout the entire movie. I find it frustrating. I want to shake that character, and I want to say, will you speak up? Somebody's asking you a goddamn question.
Dean, I would love it if you're like a script supervisor on this movie.
How many times, I want you guys to answer me this. How many times have you even been in a freaking room with somebody who gets asked a question and doesn't answer it? Answer, never. It doesn't happen. Someone says something. A person says something when someone is asked them a question, unless they're a freaking maniac.
Is somebody talking? Is somebody talking? I can't hear anything.
I mean, seriously, I just find that very, very frustrating.
And I think the psychology of people that come from an abusive home many times expresses itself in a way that they shut down.
I can understand that. I can relate to that to a degree. I mean, I don't really have the problem that you have with that, Dean. That's the least
a lot of times people will call me and I'll just breathe, and then they get the hint and they'll be like, "Well, I'll let you go."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, actress in a supporting role. The nominees are Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea. Supporting actress. I think this is Viola Davis's to lose, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I agree. It's not the one where there is a slight competition of the major six. It's Viola Davis for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Plus,
another beautiful snotty performance. If she were to lose, Dean, who would she lose to?
I would assume Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing the two is like comparing. I mean, like Michelle Williams is in that movie for just under 10 minutes, probably, and Viola Davis is in that movie for just over an hour. So it's kind of like it's comparing, apples and oranges in some ways.
But Dean, they each have one big scene. Viola Davis, when she has that scene about her life with him and what she sacrificed, that is her Oscar-winning scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's no denying
the snot scene. The snot scene is it shall be known.
Yes. Yeah.
But she actually has more scenes than that. She is, because the latter half, when it's, after it's revealed what Denzel Washington's been doing with his spare time, she has a number of scenes. I mean, I think that scene where she finds out about his dalliances is something memorable, and also the scene where she sees the baby for the first time is also incredibly memorable. So she actually has a few more scenes than Michelle Williams does. But this is really an example of. It's really kind of a borderline example of this, but it's really an example of category fraud in some ways, because it's really kind of a leading performance being put into supporting. But you can be said that it's also it's very much a supporting performance, because when Fences first hit Broadway, the actress playing this role won the supporting actress Tony. The featured actress Tony. So it's either way. It's a little iffy. But that being said, Viola Davis deserves it. She's great in the movie, and she's going to win.
Okay, actress in a leading role. The nominees are Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, Emma Stone for La La Land, and Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. Tony, what do you feel here?
To me, this is the only one that's up for grabs. I think Stone has to be a slight favored over Portman, but I think Portman gave a better performance. And so I think it's a toss-up. If I were betting, I'd bet on Stone. If I were voting, I'd vote for Portman.
You know, I just have to say something. You know the Gold Derby, who are the Oscar prognosticators year-round? I've watched a few of their videos because they produce these Skype videos where they call the race and everything. Every phase of the race they examine. There's one set of prognosticators who are pretty well read on Oscars and history and the race and everything, and it's led by Tom O'Neill. There's another set that I've never heard, and they spoke for an hour in a video session the other day after the nominations were announced. I've never heard a more inept group of prognosticators before in my life. Literally, every point they made was so dead off that I was like, what the hell? People watch these videos from... Well, I can recall one particular one where they were blasting. They said Natalie Portman has no chance at winning this because she's refusing to do marketing for it. She's refusing to promote herself for it. I'm like, well, do you have any idea that the woman's like 9 months pregnant right now?
Yeah, I mean,
does that have any bearing at all? That's just one. But literally everything they say, Dean, you will watch and you'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Check that clip out.
I'm going to look at some of that. I'm with Tony on this. Although, you know, if I was actually, I would have probably maybe voted for Annette Bening for 20th Century Women. I mean, there were lead performances by actresses this year that I loved a lot more. I mean, Rebecca Hall for Christine, or you know, even Sandra Hüller for Tony Erdmann, or Sonia Braga for Aquarius.
Yeah, I was going to say you like that performance a lot. So I mean,
yeah, Kate Beckinsale for Love and Friendship. Even Lily Collins for Rules Don't Apply. I love that performance too. So there were other lead actress performances that I loved, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be Emma Stone. I mean, for me, one of the great moments of that movie is her audition scene, where she's got that puffy coat on and she's really killing it, and then she gets interrupted by somebody, and then she just realizes how little her work matters to these people, and I think that's a pretty devastating scene. There's a lot in that performance that I think is incredibly effective. So that would be my.
I like her. I like her too. Is there any possibility that the Academy will pull in Adrian Brody and give it to Isabelle Huppert?
That's certainly a possibility. I mean, as a career award.
A career award. It's possible, and I wouldn't be against it. I mean, certainly I wouldn't be against it, but I just don't. There's so much outrage online from her winning, though. People are really. Did you guys notice this? There are people really disgusted that they really didn't like the movie, and I can see where the movie offends people, but the movie has rubbed people the wrong way. I've noticed. I thought it was a very good performance, but I also noticed that people think that she should have gotten it for Things to Come, not for this movie.
But the other
she's
thing
fantastic in that.
Oh, I
the
like
other
to see
thing,
that, Dean.
the other thing is she has a greater character than either of the other two.
Right.
I mean, her character has levels beyond either of them, either Stone's character or Portman's character.
True.
And she's able to balance them or meld them or keep them all alive, all vital. So there's go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think she's such a skilled actress. I think she actually even almost Meryl Streep could watch the floor with a lot of these. I mean, she is a very superb actress who's played a lot of challenging parts throughout her career, and I'm glad to see she's getting recognized finally. I just don't know if this is the year. I think that she can win. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's doubtful.
Okay.
Very doubtful.
Can I make an observation about the Meryl Streep movie, though? There's something where the elephant in the room here. Don't you all find it very funny that the character she is playing, in one sense, a character who's very wealthy, who wants to sing, thinks she can sing but can't, is really, and not that this is anyone's intention whatsoever when they made it, a stand-in for our president, a man who's very rich, wanted to be president, but has no idea how to lead.
Oh, God. Don't tell Meryl
Even
Streep
in her mediocrity, she's much more talented.
Yeah, no. I mean, you understand what the point I'm trying to make, though. There's actually
No, I mean the character. The character's more talented.
Oh God, yeah, the character's a hell of a lot more talented.
Yeah, I think that's just something you're kind of like reading into it, but it's an interesting thing that you're saying.
I just think just also with her whole thing at the Golden Globes, and it's just stuff that's been popping into my mind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take us off on a tangent. I'm sorry about that.
You mean we're not allowed to go off on tangents? Nobody
well,
told
not me. I'm not allowed to.
Oh,
okay. Best nominees for Best Supporting Actor: Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, and Michael Shannon got in for Nocturnal Animals. I am going to go actually with the old dog in the category, Jeff Bridges. I think it might likely go to Ali, but I think they might give it to the pro amongst these.
I don't see it. I like it, but Ali seems to me almost a lock if there is such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he didn't win the Golden Globe?
Yeah. Well, the Golden Globe, to me, the foreign press, a lot of times they don't really relate, and it's as much as our awards are for sale, theirs are really for sale.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
Pia
Zadora, who can forget that? Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go for Mahershala Ali. I'm disappointed that he disappears from the movie. I guess I understand it on the story level. Personally, again, I felt like the year was filled with really an unbelievable array of possibilities, in this category, from Tom Bennett in Love and Friendship, Tracy Letts in a number of movies, Indignation and Christine particularly. I mean, John Goodman for 10 Cloverfield Lane, or, they had a chance to give a posthumous nomination to Alan Rickman for Eye in the Sky, or Billy Crudup for 20th Century Women, or particularly, I think they really missed an opportunity to give Issey Agata from Silence nomination, which his scenes in that movie were my favorite parts of the film, and I thought that he was tremendous in it. And even Kevin Costner in Hidden Figures to a certain extent. So, I mean, there were there were many others that I was really gone for. I find that I'm really most emotionally attached to either Michael Shannon or Lucas Hedges, actually, for Manchester by the Sea. But that's not the way things are going to go. It's going to go to Mahershala Ali.
Not a bad performance in the bunch. But I'm going to go with Michael Shannon. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say Michael Shannon. He is an actor that is very well respected by his peers. I think everyone really, and he has gotten, when we talk about this movie, his performance has gotten a lot of praise. So I'm going to just go out on a limb and say Michael Shannon here.
Actor in a leading role: Casey Affleck, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. Jerry, what do you think?
Oh, I think this is Casey Affleck. This is a lock. This is just the. I think this is the biggest lock there is.
Yeah.
I just don't see how. I mean, something really, really got. He would, even if he was arrested. No, this is a loss for him.
Yeah.
I really do feel that way.
Yeah, I just can't see any of the others even having a shot at it.
But I also think deservingly so. I think it is it is quite a performance. There's no denying that.
I did deny it. I mean, he's playing a repressed character, but he have to repress range as well. I mean, how much range does he have in that repression of character? I know he's worthy, and I know he was effective, but I don't see great acting. I really don't.
I actually strongly disagree with that. I think the scene in the police station is devastating.
That's fantastic.
I mean, that's a devastating scene, Tony. I mean, that alone, right there, his recounting of what happened is just mind-blowing. I mean, let's say put it like this: the expressions. He has the weight of the guilt on his shoulders, on his mind. When you realize what has happened, it's just overwhelming. And I think he does an excellent job of expressing that.
Jerry, how many times have you seen the film?
I've only seen it once.
Oh, really?
I've seen it 3 times. I feel every moment I can feel him. Like, I love those opening scenes where he's cleaning other people's apartments, and he gets faced with that one lady that sort of seems like she is kind of coming on to him in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then she's also like raking him over the coals for something that's totally beyond his control.
Right.
And he just tells her off so perfectly in a way that has real anger behind it, but also a certain control of that anger. I think that he's always in that movie. He's always like trying to get things done.
Yeah.
That's his number one thing is to try and get things done. The way he says when the kid asks him to do something, take him someplace or something like that, and the way he just says a simple word like "sure, I'll take you" or whatever.
Yeah.
The way that he does it is just perfect in just one word. I think it's an extraordinary performance, and you can see something going on in his eyes in every moment, and it never feels like a performance. That's the one thing that I can say that probably the other 4 don't have in common with it, is that they all, Andrew Garfield has the accent, and Ryan Gosling had to learn to play the piano, and Viggo Mortensen, I don't even know what he's doing here, and Denzel Washington. I mean, Gosling and Washington are great in their roles, but Casey Affleck is just way beyond.
I think that
somebody brought up the fact that it doesn't seem like a performance. What's the matter with seeming like a performance? I mean, what's the matter with feeling that I'm in the rest of creativity?
That goes back to an old question of like whether when you have a performance, does it feel like a performance, or is it just trying to be realistic, and therefore is it simply behavior that's being depicted there? And I think that's fair. Definitely. I mean,
Denzel
where you're coming from.
Gives a performance.
Yeah. I mean, I have
here's
no
my
problem.
feeling on it. If he were to give something that screamed performance, it would not fit the tone of the movie. The tone of the behavior, the kind of behavior-based performance that he gives in Manchester, is befitting of the material. Now but that doesn't mean it's any less of a performance than something that is broad. If that the movie called for that kind of thing.
Michael Shannon do the same thing, and I think better? Doesn't Michael Shannon deliver performance?
That role is about performance, yes, because that movie is very heightened. Manchester is not.
Oh, I wasn't talking about
Michael
that
Shannon's
movie. I was talking about Loving, and I was talking about Midnight Special, and I was talking about everything he does. That he's giving a performance, and I know it's a performance, but I'm much more, I guess, alert, aware, perceptive of the humanity in it.
No, I could see the humanity in every frame in Affleck's performance. Absolutely. In fact, not just Affleck's performance, but every performance in that movie. Every performance. Every note that every actor makes, even if they're only in it for 5 seconds. They're all
Who was
superb.
in it for 5 seconds?
The nurse.
And she was great, huh?
Yeah, she was fantastic in it.
Okay,
those parts are important. I mean, it is setting an environment of that particular culture there, and so there was another. Hell or High Water does the same thing very well. It gives you a sense of place, and a lot of it comes through the minor parts, like the waitress, like the
well, in so many of these
picture.
films, the place is a character. It's actually a character.
Best
Are any
Picture
of you
nominees.
from New England? Are any of you from New England?
No.
No.
Okay. Because I know a critic that I read really judged it as a New Englander seeing in his character the values and the qualities that he recognized in his fellow New Englanders.
And he said positively, or
yes, very positive. Very positively, yes.
Okay, 6 more minutes and the SAG Awards start. So we got this last category.
Should be pretty easy.
Best Picture. That's right. Do we even need to name these? Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. There was not a Best Picture-worthy film past the letter M this year.
I like that, Jamie. That's good.
Okay, Tony, you got it. What do you think?
Oh, it's La La Land is I can't see it losing. I mean, if it remember a couple of years ago when the first rush was Boyhood was absolutely going to win. It was a tremendous odds-on favorite, and it dwindled. And finally, when the Oscars were awarded, the Birdman
Spotlight
had passed it.
It's Birdman.
Yeah. And this year, I don't see anybody even getting close to La La Land. It just seems to be on an absolute wave.
So it'll be the first, and I agree. There's no chance. I said that it was. I thought it was going to win Best Picture. Not that I thought that it was going to be my favorite movie of the year, which it is, but I said that I thought it was going to win Best Picture when I saw the trailer. And sometimes that happens. I just see the trailer and I say, well, that's Best Picture right there. That's it. It just looks like Best Picture. And it's really got everything going for it. All the boxes tick. And it's nice that Best Director is finally going to go to an American for the first time since Catherine Bigelow won for The Hurt Locker.
America first.
Yeah.
America first. There you go.
Well, I mean, it's nice to have somebody, an American winning every once in a while, and it's nice also to see someone as young as Chazelle getting this kind of success. So,
Dean, I think it's ironic, but I think that Moonlight is probably second. I think it's past Manchester.
Yeah.
In terms of
it
its.
is.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the camps really fall into, are you for Moonlight or are you for at La La Land? Really, that's really with maybe Hidden Figures coming up in the at the end here. Yeah, but I mean, I can't see Hidden Figures getting in here or even Moonlight. It just seems impossible to me. But.
Okay.
If La La Land
Jerry,
loses, it should be the biggest upset of all time, right?
Yeah,
guys.
That's it.
Okay, so La La Land is the juggernaut.
Yeah.
And
yes,
there's no
people
crash
will be
that
sick
might
of hearing
beat it.
about it.
Okay. Well, there it is. Those are our Oscar predictions. And by the way, Tony, is the Vegas odds, are those all on La La Land as well?
There's no such thing as Vegas odds. People think there's some people that put them out and they've always got them wrong, like the guys that you watched on that blog or whatever it was. You can bet them offshore. There are odds if you want to bet the Oscars, but most of them aren't bettable because you have to give $10 to win 30 cents. About the only one that would be worthy of betting, unless you think it was an upset. And I did bet $10 years ago. I did bet $10 on Birdman after Boyhood came out, and I said, "No, Boyhood, please don't win." And for $10, it paid $185 for me. And at the time of the Oscars, you had to wait $12 or $13 to win 10. So there is no betting in Las Vegas. They want to eventually, but also they used to be completely wrong because they would go with the popular choices, and now they just look at the offshore lines and give them out. But you can't bet the Oscars in Vegas.
Well, congratulations anyway, because you're about to get a football team.
Yes, but I'm big deal. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so.
Oh, there you go. There we go. So Vegas is getting, whose team are they getting?
They're getting the Raiders. They're getting the Oakland Raiders.
Oh,
and it's almost a done deal because Vegas has made a huge amount of money given to building the stadium and giving to the team. And
right, okay.
So if you come out here, you pay for your parking, you pay for your hotel tax. Everything that used to be free is now under Trump world, and we pay for everything.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see the cheerleaders for that particular team. I mean, coming from Vegas,
that's
you know they're going to be impressive.
Have you seen the fans? However, have you seen the fans are oppressive in a far different way. They're armed. They're not busty. They are armed.